Hey guys, what's up? Web Show here, back with another edit video. I'm doing an editing tutorial for the Tulip Festival. Since everyone was asking how do I edit my tulips, actually only one person asked this, but I'll still make a video on it. Today I got a moody Tulip Festival picture here. It's a vertical shot on f16. 16 millimeter. I just got this lens this day. Actually, I took this picture. I was like, let me go test it out. So let's get right into it. So I start off with this photo. I see a lot of dark. This line here takes me away from really the subject, which the subject is this windmill, which is very small, but it is a subject, and then tulips are in the foreground that are the main subject. The sky is also, I would say, one of the bonuses of this. So I'll start out with the crop tool, see what I like. So I'll brought it down to like around here, just so it's inside this line, and so that's inside the line. Bringing it up. I want this red tulip to be in the frame. That's a for sure. And boom. Actually, I don't like that. I want a little bit more on the red tulip. Let's just give it some space there. And then you got this middle here that's very dominant, let's just say. Now I'll go through my basic editing things I do. I usually go down to portrait, and then I usually bring this up just a tad, bring this up a tad, and then I bring this up to 2 every time just to see. Bring this down to 5, bring this up to 7, and then I go from there really. Then I go back up to highlights, see how much the highlights can take. Bring up the shadows, not a lot. Bring up the whites. Bring down the blacks. To the tone curve here. I don't usually do much on the tone curve. I usually just bring up the lights a lot because it adds a lot of, like, I don't even know what it's called, light right here. It brings you to the subject of the windmill. Let's see. Bring this up just by this much because I'm gonna be darkening the sky with a vignette. Blacks I can bring down, not by much. Shadows, let's actually bring this down a little bit more. Okay, now the fun part. This is my favorite part actually, the colors. So to bring up the reds, just like that. You don't want to overdo it. There is oranges and there is yellows in here. I mean, oh yeah, you can tell. It's in the greens also. Bring up the greens. Not by much, but purples, there is purples. Oh, there's purple in the sky. Maybe it's magenta. I'll bring up the blues because the blues are pretty important also. Not by much, just keeping that little blue tint. This is in the stem, so doesn't really matter much, but so now the luminance, put it up on these two because this is the main subject. Actually, I'll bring up the magenta too a little bit, and the yellows. Not gonna touch the split toning quite yet. Usually come down to sharpening after this. I usually don't touch the amount, but in masking I do click Alt and hold down masking and then drag. You get this effect, and then it takes away some of the noise in the image, that unwanted noise. So, and then I come down to vignetting. I usually just go down to 2, just I don't know, just to see. So now it gets to the part where I edit every single part just in itself. So put a little circle thingamajiggy here, put one right here, put one right there, put one for the sky, over here, press this, actually go like that, on the windmill, and then I'll do a vignette. That should work. There. All right. Starting off with the first one, the tulips. Introduce some clarity in here. A little bit of dehaze. And then I just work it how it is. And then I come down to my range mask. Get this little dauber thing. And this is how I see. I like, oh, look at it. It's all selected, all those. So I'll bring up the exposure, shadows with this. Highlights. All right. I think that's quite good there. And then let's go to the leaves. Now I do the exact same thing. I see where it's going. Let's actually bring up the contrast here a little bit. And then I come down to color, click on the greens, show me what's being done. Oh, whoops. That's the feathering. I'm like, what is going on here? There. I like that. Bring up that. Bring up the dehaze. Bring up the highlights. Bring down the blacks a little bit. There. Now come down to this little tulip here. Same thing, color. Click on, oh, what happened there? There we go. Boom. Hold on. I need to go back into that one. So I put up the warmth maybe to give it more a little bit red. Bring up the highlights on this. Maybe keep it like that. Keep it more real. What was my next one? Oh, I did the sky, but I'm gonna go to the windmill. The windmill. Put this on the feathering side, not as much. Bring up the clarity on it. Bring up dehaze. And then highlights. It does, you won't tell really, but it won't do much. Bring out noise. I don't know. Shadows. Let's see. Because that is the shadow. Back of it is the shadow. Oh, weird. I didn't even notice this line. Okay. Now the sky. The sky is next here. So bring up the clarity. Bring this up because you want to have this moody sky. Bring down the noise because now you just heard a bunch of noise. Bring down the sharpness. Don't need a lot of sharpness. Bring up the contrast. So now look at that sky. Moody. Moody skies. Tulip everywhere. Now to the vignetting. Invert it because it won't do much. I usually like to see what is being done first. I'm gonna go like that. Down the clarity. Down this. Bring down the shading. Down the blacks. Maybe get a more contrast. And boom. Look at that. Amazing. Now, I usually take it into Photoshop. You don't need to do this, but it does help it a lot. So I usually go hit edit in Adobe Photoshop. It'll take a couple seconds here. So on this day, I left right when the rainbows were starting, because you see in the distance there's little white patches on the horizon. That's the rain falling down in those little sections, which kind of left. There's always more days at the Tulip Festival. Alright, well, what are you doing? I could see it. Okay, there it is. Put in the full screen. Alright, so now what I'll do is I'll zoom in onto the horizon here. Get out my healing. Or is this the healing? Yeah, healing. Okay. And I'll take out all of the distractions on the horizon line. I'm not making sure I have the best possible, just for the video's sake, because I could be doing this for hours, just making sure it's perfect. Hold on, let me make this a little bit less. Actually, I'm gonna keep that one. I don't know. I'll keep that one today. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Alright. Because the Tulip Festival, there's a couple things that are very unique to the Tulip Festival. It's the trees that are around here and the windmill. I'm going to get rid of these two. I just saw. There's probably more. I just not really taking the time to really look that hard to it. Alright. Let's fit on screen again, and then let's come up to image. Oh wait, no, layer. Layer, duplicate layer. My bad, guys. Then go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. I like it at 14, really. 14 is around where I like it. I really don't change it much. If I do, it would be down. Then I go to image, adjustments. I like levels because Nick Page told me to always do in, well, he didn't tell me to always do in levels, but he does in levels, so I do in levels. So you can see this little tone curve. These are your darks here, and these are your lights. So let's bring down the lights. So they're borderline, very exposed. Kind of like that. Bring down the blacks. Just like that. Not a lot, but more in the lights than the darks. Then hit OK. Come down to your, oh shoot, to your background layers and stuff. Drag this one all the way down. So it's around 12 to 14, depending. And then that will give you this really, I would say, glossy look to it. It's more glossy now. Also, the highlights are a lot brighter than they were. And yeah, so now you come up here, hit save. Saving. And that should have brought it into Lightroom. So now this is in Lightroom. Okay, where is it? Oh, Yeah, here it comes. Oh, it'll take a couple seconds. Now come all the way down here to sharpening, because now when you do that blur, it'll de-sharpen your image. So all I like to do is go up to 2, go down to masking, click masking, hit Alt, and then just bring it up a tad so you have all that detail still. And boom, there's your Tulip Festival picture. I think you could do this with I was gonna try it with my 200mm, do this, but I already liked it with my 16mm. It's always up to you. Thank you guys for watching this Tulip Festival edit picture. Please like, comment, and subscribe.